Hello again. When Giorgia Melon of the Italian Brotherhood became Prime Minister of Italy last October, the European newspapers were full of foreboding as she was described as being hard right and anti-immigration, a strong woman with determined views on foreigners. There were inevitable comparisons with fascist leader Mussolini. Almost a year later, and just how tough has she been on immigration? Well, 100,000 illegal immigrants have travelled from North Africa and landed on Italian territory this year alone. We in this country might think that we have problems with small boats, but for the Italians, 5 or 6 times as many of these people are landing in their country after crossing the Mediterranean. Meloni has done absolutely nothing at all to prevent this happening, any more than our own Prime Minister has been able to do. Remember at the beginning of this year he promised that he was going to stop the small boats, as he put it? Has he done so? Few of us would agree that he has. Here is a very serious question for viewers, and it is this. What steps would be necessary, do you suppose, to prevent dinghies crossing the English Channel or small boats landing in Italy after having sailed from Africa? How would you put a stop to them? The answer is that there is only one conceivable way which would really work, and I doubt very much that it is likely to be used. This would be to treat such vessels as being hostile, and if they refuse to alter course after having been warned to turn back, opening fire on them. Nothing else is likely to be effective. The implications for such a course of action are grave in the extreme. For instance, the English Channel is one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world, and it would have to be closed down indefinitely if there were a permanent live firing exercise of this kind taking place. What that would do for the country's economy, I hesitate to think. The same applies, of course, to the Mediterranean. Whatever Giorgia Meloni's wishes are, she will be unable to prevent the boatloads of illegal immigrants approaching their country without resorting to the use of military force. This, then, is the blunt truth which none of us wish to face. I have no doubt at all that some fool will make a video soon claiming that I am advocating the summary execution of asylum seekers, but what I am really doing is pointing out the realpolitik of the matter. If you are simply to prevent those boats from coming near to your waters by blocking their approach, say, with your own vessels or using some other non-lethal means, then the occupants of the boats would start throwing themselves overboard, knowing that you would then be compelled to launch your lifeboats to rescue them. Nothing of that kind would work. Only brute force would be effective in deterring the boats. The question people need to ask is if they would be prepared to sanction the machine gunning of boats full of civilians. I do not say this is a good idea, mind, but it would be the only practical way of stopping the flow of refugees and asylum seekers heading for either Britain or the European mainland. If we do not use actions of this kind, then of course more and more people will come, and the present 250,000 or so who currently enter Europe from Africa illegally will increase enormously as Africa collapses into chaos, as it is likely to do in the coming years.